Hello, everybody. On the Homefront, very happy to have some time with you again. We're here on WILI Live on this Wednesday. Our show is going to end a little early today to allow Red Sox coverage, so we're going to be very tight with our show. We have 3 segments for you. At the end of the show, we're going to look at the arts in Willimantic. There's a special it's called Caring in Action, a celebration of mutual aid happening on the weekend of the 17th, 18th, and 19th at the Molten Lava Gallery. We're going to have Phoebe Snow. Wow. I wish. We're going to have Phoebe Godfrey here with Juan Pablo to talk about their show coming up later this month. Also, we're going to talk about the next Repair Cafe this weekend at St. Paul's Church on Valley Street. They've been doing this for many years, 4 times a year. It's a way to take things you might normally throw away. They bring them to the Repair Cafe. Volunteers fix them. You can reuse them or pass them on. So we'll have Rita Kornblum and Judy Pearl here in a few minutes. But right now we're going to look at the arts at Eastern again. There's another show opening, and we have 2 people very involved with this. Sitting next to me is Alycia Holland. She's an associate professor in the Communication, Film, and Theater Department at Eastern. It's good to have you back in the house.
Thank you, John. It's good to be here.
It's always good to have the arts here. Also, we have Kristen Morgan here. She's an associate professor and department chair of Communication, Film, and Theater. It's nice to have you back here as well.
Thank you, John.
It's been a busy year, and there's been so many great shows up on the Hill that's been keeping the FAIC facility really busy with student productions. And there's one opening now coming up the 24th to the 27th. And I guess I'll let you introduce the play, and we'll talk about how you put it together and the production and the fact that this is a little bit of living history of New York City. It's a nice combination of drama and some painful politics and social change as well. It's called The Women's House of Detention, The Prison That Made America, 1932 to 1974. So thank you in advance for all your good work.
Thank you.
And explain some history for us, how this all came together for you.
Okay, well, about 2 years ago now, I was given a book called The Women's House of Detention, Queer History Forgotten by Hugh Ryan, and that was really the primary source material and inspiration for the staged live production. I was really inspired by the book. It tells of the history of Greenwich Village and how Greenwich Village is really synonymous with the Women's House of Detention, which of course no longer remains there. It is now a garden. It is still the Jefferson Market Library, the building attached to the Women's House of Detention. This is on 6th and Greenwich Street, and right in the East Village. And the Jefferson Market Library, which is a beautiful architectural building, it was originally the Women's Court. And the Women's Court had Night Court, which I only thought was a program on TV, but
Wow.
no, actually.
A real night court.
A real night court where it was, advertised to the Upper East and West Side, socialite folks to come there, kind of like a cabaret-esque, after they went to their Broadway show and a nice dinner. And they would go there to watch the women who were being arrested for lewd behavior, wearing pants, being with other women, being gender nonconforming, presenting as masculine.
Some kind of social deviancy.
Some type.
So labeled.
Very
Yes,
much
indeed.
so.
Indeed.
And so they would go through the night court, and then they'd be immediately sent into the Women's House of Detention. And it was both a jail and a prison, so there would be some people there, that were just awaiting bail, and others who had committed actual crimes.
Wow.
So the storiedness of the buildings, the architectural structures, was fascinating to me. And I had also known of this place. It's a very distinctive corner. And my friend from college, who's like a 35-year-old friend and colleague now.
Oh, those are wonderful.
Yes, who we actually did she's a ceramic artist, and so we also have an accompanying show in our art gallery at Eastern.
That's right.
And that show's called The House of D, Voices Out the Window and Stories on the Ground.
It's in the same building, by the way, the FAIC, right on campus.
Yes. And so this building, my friend grew up just down the street from, and she was like a third-generation villager. And her mom and aunt used to always tell her stories, because they were alive when the building was still open and operational, that the women would yell out of the windows and talk down to their family and loved ones and friends and their community. And in some ways I felt like, wow, that's kind of like very humane in terms of, a detention center, because it's actually situated directly in the beaten footpath of Greenwich Village. And because the women were gender nonconforming, or, whatever label you want to say, they very much exemplified the spirit of Greenwich Village, where avant-garde artists and beatniks and everybody was there in Greenwich Village.
It's a real cultural center.
A real mecca and what do I want to say? Confluence of kind of revolutionary folks, I would say.
Well, this is a good point to ask a question now, because what you did was you painted a picture of the story. So now translating it to the stage. Okay, as a director, you had to collaborate with a lot of different groups. Kristen, you did work with projections and scenic design. So you painted a vivid picture of the village. I'm going to ask you later about time travel to the 30s, but how did you recreate that incredibly rich space on the stage at Eastern?
So our set is actually, this year, one of the things that we were really trying to do is to be more sustainable. We're always trying to do that, be more sustainable with our scenery, our costumes, all kinds of things. And so what you're going to be seeing on stage, or what folks who come to see the show will see on stage, is a reconfiguration of elements that have been used in the last two shows that were in the proscenium this year. So there's a big curved wall that makes up the wall of the prison, and there's been windows cut out of it so that the folks who are in there can kind of lean out and have these moments where they're talking to people on the street or other places. So it was fun to kind of figure out how to reconfigure that and make it like the right setting for this show. And then in terms of projection, so I was just working on that today. One of the cues I was putting together was the Stonewall riot scene. So there's some younger adolescent women who were in
the Diddy Bop floor.
What's called the Diddy Bop
floor of the Women's House of Detention.
Yeah. And they're watching what's happening on the street during the Stonewall riot, and they're
This should be late 70s now, right? 77, right? 78?
End of the 60s.
End of the 60s.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Stonewall Inn is literally like 2 blocks from.
It was a real place.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
It's still a real place that exists. I took our experimental theater class to Greenwich Village for a field on site, and we went to Washington Square Park and Stonewall Inn, and to the fencing, which will be a good tie-in to finish the scenic picture.
You'll see that fencing in there, which is also serving the fencing that's there now, holding in the garden, which is serving as a jail cell. So the girls in the Diddy Bop floor are shouting in solidarity. They're lighting their mattresses on fire and trying to throw them out the window. So I was finding all these archival images from Stonewall and from the early gay rights protests in the 60s, and putting those together into sort of a collage for that moment, along with some flames and other things like that. So it should be an exciting moment.
And I guess as part of the transition between acts, there's been a team that's produced a film to tell another story within the story. Could you give a little teaser without giving it away? But somebody worked hard to get this ready to go.
So that is the class I was speaking of early, the Theater 474 experimental theater class. And as I said, we did the site visit to the space, and they've been doing a lot of archival collection. I think they've kind of enjoyed it, actually. And one thing that they did in part of their archival collection was listening to the Lesbian Her Story archives, which holds a vast amount of information, but particularly of a character, Mabel Hampton, who is a main character in our show. And she was also the first person that led the gay rights pride parade in New York City in the 80s at the start of the pride parades. And so she had a very long life, and she actually opens our show as a 8-year-old child in South Carolina before she, during the Great Migration in 1910. So we see her until she's 82, and she closes out the epilogue. So she's a major character, and so fascinating of a person in general. And I would urge people to actually go to the Lesbian Her Story archives and take a listen to her words. They're inspiring.
Well, this is coming up in just a few days. I want to mention this again. It's April 24th to the 27th. They have shows at 5:30, 11 a.m., different times. But the website to go for more information to get tickets is easternct.showair.com. That's their main site for all their tickets, showair.com/WHOD. And it couldn't be a more timely occasion.
I know. I didn't. Are you okay? Do you want some tea?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Some
Thanks.
water?
I'm good.
Because you're bringing lost history. There have been so much art in the last 10 years that's taken history that's been buried, and you present it in a way that people can't turn away from anymore. It's really nice to have art as a confrontation that's nonviolent. And that's what is the politics of difference in America, right?
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
what it is. So I want to thank you again. We've had Alycia Bright Holland here and Kristen Morgan from the CFT department at Eastern. I wish you a great success with the show. And we'll have you back in June for a year in review of all the arts.
Sounds
And I'll
good.
look forward to seeing you for the show. I'm going to bring Rita. We'll go see you and see the show.
Great.
Okay.
Look forward to seeing you there.
All right. Thanks again.
Thanks,
Take
John.
care.
Thanks,
Good luck
John.
with everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, we'll take a short break and come right back and talk about the Repair Cafe. Stay with us. All right, we're back on the home front here. We're always happy to have you with us, whether you're on WILI or WICH or WECS. Very happy to have you. You might be on Public Access Channel 192. One thing I want to mention is if you want to join us in the studio to share some news or to tell your story, just use email and we can arrange to have you here any Wednesday. It's john@humanartsmedia.com. For our second segment today, we're going to look at the Repair Cafe. It's been going on for many years in Willimantic. 4 times a year, they open up St. Paul's Church. These wonderful people repair things so you can avoid throwing them out. And it's from 10 to 2 on April 12th, the First Congregational Church. St. Paul's is where the bread
across the
box.
street.
That's where the bread box concerts are. So thank you for correcting me.
Sure.
That's a hot spot in town. But anyway, we have Rita Kornblum here with us and Judy Pearl. They've been doing this for many years. So thank you for the good work you do with these cafes. And for people that are still learning about it, can you say what it is and what your hopes are for this Saturday?
Sure.
Okay. We've been having the cafes since 2014 now.
Wow.
And it's a group of volunteers. People can come in and bring things that don't work anymore, whether it's electronic devices, electrical appliances, even clothing that needs to be repaired, small furniture maybe that needs to be glued, and knives that need to be sharpened, all kinds of things like that. They bring them in, and for free, the volunteers will repair them. Sometimes they might need to go across the street to buy a part from the hardware store, but a lot of times we bring our own parts in, so they don't
Right.
have to do anything but just watch us work on it.
And many times people say, is it free? And we say, yes, it's free. So they always want to leave a contribution, which we do accept because we
course.
do pay for the hall, and we always have a little bit of coffee and tea and some good things to try. So this next one will be this Saturday, April 12th, from 10 to 2. And different than other times, we will have someone that will be fixing bicycles if someone is interested.
Very seasonal now. Things are getting warm.
Absolutely. And I will be there to repair teddy bears and any other stuffed animal that needs repair.
So Nurse Rita will make
Nurse
an appearance.
Rita will be in the house. That's right.
Bring the kids. No, I've been coming there many years. It's a kind of a family space. It's quiet. People are working, but they're enjoying the time. Have a cup of coffee. Some folks are volunteers to make some little pastries and things to kind of nibble on. But it's the whole idea of ecology, not throwing stuff out, keeping the landfills clean. That's why you do it every year, all the time.
That's the
Well, that's
main, that's it.
It's a real community event too,
It is.
because you get to meet people, whether you're a repairer or someone bringing in something to be repaired.
That's right.
You get to know people in your community, and it's really fun. I mean, I got to be close with 2 repairers that I work with that I didn't really know as well, and we do things outside of the repair cafe all the time.
Sure.
And then I run into people that have brought things in town, and it's almost like you have a connection with them because you worked on something special of theirs. And a lot of people bring in things that are very special to them, like lamps that have been passed down in their family. They have special meaning, and they haven't been working for years, and then we get them working again, and there's like this excitement about it.
I always joke about once, several years ago, I think it was John Schwank actually, somebody brought in an old Hoover vacuum from God knows how many decades ago, and he got it. It was like a religious moment when that thing came to life.
Yeah,
It
everybody
fixed the power
claps,
supply.
and it's exciting.
It's awesome, yeah. It's like they're repairing something. And the thing is, it's free, but you can donate to help pay for the building. And I guess you could run down, you've crunched a few numbers over the years to say this actually has numbers to show people do this.
Yes. Well, since 2014, it looks like we had about over 1,300 visitors come in with items, and we fixed about 1,700 items. So that's quite a bit. We have an average about 39 to 40 people come in each time.
Right.
Sometimes the weather's not so great and we might not get many people, but I hope this,
That's true.
It's not going to be so great Saturday, but there's nothing better to do than get your stuff fixed.
Right. We do get a lot of students that bring clothing to be fixed, and sometimes they come in with a big suitcase of things.
A few too many that you can do, right?
So we just put them in a rotative kind of a line, because we do have to allow other folks to get their things repaired as well. So
Yeah, I guess that's a delicate point about being polite. Some people get a little too enthusiastic, and they bring too many things, and they take too much of the time. So bring a few pieces, and then a few months later you'll have another cafe, because the seasonal change means you're up in the attic finding stuff for the garage. A lot of it may get tossed out. And the way our economy's going now, with things getting more expensive, saving things, fixing them might be very smart for the family budget.
Well, I also think that things were made a lot better back years ago, and so when you're fixing a blender or something like that, you're really fixing a good thing when it's older, and it'll last many years to come. Some of these things that they're making now can't even be fixed, just because they're made with plastics and things that just, if you don't have the part to it, they don't make the part to it anymore.
And like you said, John, the intent is really to keep things out of the garbage stream, and this way we create less waste. And that's really a very important thing for the world, to have less waste. So, I encourage people to come and bring whatever items they have, and the volunteers are always willing to try. If they can't do it, they can't do it. But many times, the fixers, have been able to fix a lot of interesting things that we didn't think initially would be possible.
And I have an example, like there was
Please.
a stuffed animal that a man brought in that was his wife's as a child, and it had a little music box in it it was supposed to be playing You Are My Sunshine, and it didn't work anymore, and he wanted to surprise her. But when we had to carefully extract the
Careful surgery.
surgery on the stuffed animal to get out the music box, but the music box had broken plastic gears that could not be replaced. But then we looked up online for the man where you can find one, and he went ahead and ordered one, and is probably bringing it back to be put in and sewed up again.
You did a transplant.
Yes.
That's awesome. And that's a family thing then. You see, that's the emotions that we have for our own little stuff. That's the last stuff you want to toss.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's right. So they're always looking for volunteers if you want to lend a hand. They do it 4 times a year. Again, it's April 12th from 10 to 2 at First Congregational Church, just a couple of blocks from here, 199 Valley. It's upstairs in the auditorium.
There is parking in the back.
Yes, it's easy to get in there, no problem.
And there's an elevator, too, if you're handicapped.
That's right, you get in that way. And Do you want to mention the Facebook and how people can follow you and get some information in between the cafes?
And you can ask questions like, can I bring in this? Like, we don't take gas-powered things. So sometimes people will write on the Facebook page, can I bring in a
lawnmower?
Something like that. And we say no, no, because we're inside in the auditorium.
We don't do weed whackers, that kind of stuff. Of course.
Well, we could do electric ones, but, it's just that anything with fuel like that, we wouldn't.
Sure.
So it's really, you could search Repair Cafe Willimantic on Facebook and you'll find it, but it's at repaircafe.willimantic if you want to put that right into Facebook. And we have the dates on there, what kinds of things you can bring in. But if you have any questions, you can ask right there, and we'll get right back to you.
Sure. The other thing is the organizer is Jenny Walton, who's the recycling coordinator for the town of Mansfield. And anyone interested could give her a call at 860-429-3333. Easy to remember, right? 3333.
Okay. Well, once again, I want to thank Rita Kornblum and Judy Prill for joining us today. I wish you a great turnout on Saturday again at the First Congregational Church, 10 to 2. And thank you for the good work you do throughout the year to help our environment, to help people save their family treasures and help the environment. It's great work.
Thank you, and thanks for helping publicize this.
That's why we're here, get the word out on good things.
Yes.
Good things. Okay,
Excellent.
So thank you, folks. Okay. So what we're going to do now to save some time now, the show is ending a little early today to allow time for the Red Sox because you cannot stand in the way of the Red Sox machine, let me tell you. I'd be in big trouble. But anyway, what I want to do is give a couple of announcements while we're going to change our guests. Thank you guys for coming in.
Sure.
We'll see you soon. Want to mention a few things. In future shows in May, we're going to be talking about veterans issues. Coming up on the 19th, we're going to have veterans back here. They've been impacted heavily by the federal cuts. We're going to talk about veterans issues. We're also going to talk about the right to die. There's an organization, a national one called Compassion and Choices. And for many years, they've been trying to get bills passed in Connecticut that have to do with your personal freedom to decide when you might want to end the life experience and to be able to make that personal decision based on your own situation and maybe your family status. So we're going to have them here in May as well. And I think last week there was a very important meeting in the area involving the Wyndham United to Save Our Healthcare Coalition, the whole issue with healthcare in Wyndham for the maternal and child care unit. That's going to come up in the next couple of weeks. We'll have them here in the house with an update. And I want to thank you guys for jumping in when I'm on the air doing a live thing. Things are a little tight today for the Red Sox, but I'm always happy to have Phoebe Godfrey in the house. She's a wonderful community organizer and supporter and an artist. I've had her here many times during the year, and she has a project coming up in a couple of days, over 3 days. And also Juan Pablo is here. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you,
He's
John.
also a partner in the project.
Absolutely.
And it's called Caring in Action, a celebration of mutual aid, and it's right here in town at the Molten Lava Gallery on Molten Court. Mm-hmm. So thank you for putting this together.
Thank you.
So tell us the story.
Sure, I'll take it away.
Yes.
So mutual aid is, for those who don't know, it's sort of just what happens when you let a community just sort of exist. It's that kindness and love of people wanting to support each other, as opposed to the usual narrative of we're going to tear each other's throats out if you don't take care of us. Mm-hmm. And this sort of came about when we went on a Yukon-sponsored trip down to North Carolina. It was to help out for Hurricane Helene. Okay. So it was me, it was Phoebe, and 8 other people. And the point was just to volunteer. It was to gather some information so that we could apply for a grant to help out some more in some other way in the future. That said, on the personal scale, the experiences there, they inspired us to sort of create this art show, this art gallery. It was very much Phoebe's brainchild.
But it was also inspired because one of the places that we volunteered was the Asheville Arts District. And for anybody who's been to Asheville,
they were devastated.
They were totally devastated. They were
area.
Right along the river,
Yep.
8 feet of water. We went through, a glass studio, a pottery studio, a brewery, a foot of mud in each of these building. I mean, heartbreaking level of devastation. And so we were like, well, let's make art to try to support fellow artists and then help people in our community as well.
Yeah, and the theme of mutual aid with regard to our experience in North Carolina was when we went down there, there was the government efforts, the government help, and
Right.
the
FEMA,
donations,
yeah.
FEMA, the donations of nonprofits and organizations. But the most impactful part of what we saw there was it was just normal people, like members of the community coming together, donating their food, donating their clothes, supplies, first aid kits, storing them
Time.
all into their time,
Yeah.
their effort, and dispersing this to the community for free, just out of the kindness of their own hearts. And it's something that you don't really expect to see a lot of the time because, you know, the usual, I guess, mainstream media tends to depict things as always on fire, right? But
Or that people are naturally greedy, or that we are naturally selfish, and
Right.
that, you know, we're so divided and we can't bring ourselves together. And it was like, it didn't matter, you know, what race, class, political view. You could get a meal, you could get clothing, you could get a shower, and that was one of the questions. We went to a discussion at one of the bookstores there, of like, why does it take a disaster for us to realize how much we need each other and how much we benefit
very
when we come together,
interdependent.
right?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, think about Katrina and the scale of Katrina and what that meant. It's the same thing. And unfortunately, the way the weather's going, these things are not rare anymore. And that spirit, it has to be kind of shared because that's more important. Even though the money's critical, something gets you through and the money's not there yet.
Yeah.
So how are we going to use the time? Because we have 3 days for this celebration. It's Thursday the 17th from 5 to 8.
That's the opening, and
Opening.
there'll be an open mic.
Aha.
So anybody in the community who wants to come and say something, they want to sing, they want to. I'm going to be reading a poem. Hopefully, you know, you'll be there, John.
Yeah,
And,
a real
you
open
know,
mic.
A real open mic, and then there'll be arts and craft, and keep going.
Okay, that's 5 to 8. And by the way, this is 31 Moulton Court. Write that down. 31 Moulton Court. And then on the 18th, it's 3 to 6. Is there anything at that particular time?
What happens at 6?
yeah, 3 to 6.
6
On
is
Friday.
the workshop. 6
Okay.
o'clock we have a workshop. So 3 to 6 is the gallery is open. So people just want to come, see the art. There are things to buy. Obviously, the whole purpose is coming to buy art. So a lot of art shows, you know, you buy it and all the money goes to the artists. In this case, you buy it, 50% goes to mutual aid, right?
Okay.
And we've asked the artists to choose one of 4 nonprofit mutual aids. 2
Sources.
Yeah, 2 in our community. 1 World Kitchen, which we volunteered at. Do you want to talk about volunteering with World Kitchen?
Yeah,
Wow, what an
absolutely.
experience. Talk about a huge thing.
Yeah. No, it was a beautiful thing. It was again, Phoebe and I, and then 7 other students.
And another faculty.
Another faculty member.
Yeah.
We just sort of went there for an afternoon and an evening, and it just involved us, you know, doing menial things. We were setting up shelves for them to store their food. We were cooking the food, helping them out with that. We were moving boxes, moving crates of water bottles, just the ground level stuff you need to get things like water and food to
You're
people
rebooting
who-
everyday life. You're rebooting
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were serving like 1,000 meals a day, and the place where World Kitchen had set up was in a pretzel restaurant, and they had just handed over their kitchen for World Kitchen to come in
Right.
and run. And we were there in November, and the hurricane was in end of September. So this is like 8 weeks of 1,000 meals a day, 1,000 meals a day. You know, just an incredible setup, and everybody in such good spirits, even though.
High stress.
High stress.
High stress.
You know, and you know, visually for us, you know, flying in from Connecticut, and you're like, just seeing the devastation was stressful.
Yeah.
You know, and we didn't even go through it.
It's different when it's not on the TV set, right? It's very visceral. It has a different impact if you've been there. I went to New Orleans at some point after Katrina with some media projects, and seeing it all the marks on the houses, the code, how many people are supposed to live here, how many have we found, how many are missing. Every house had those marks. Same kind of scale.
Yeah.
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 So
really.
let's mention again, April 19th is Saturday. It's from 12 to 3. Molten Lava Gallery, 31 Molten Court.
And then the 2 workshops that are being offered, one is at 6 p.m. on Friday. The theme of that one is an open circle conversation, creating community and cultivating a sense of belonging and connection. And then another workshop, Saturday, 3 p.m., managing overwhelm in chaotic times. And those are totally free, open to anybody, being run by a community member who volunteered, who has a lot of experience in running and mentoring workshops. So we're very excited to be offering those. What else should we add?
Yeah, anything else?
Yeah, no. I guess the last thing I would add is this is just another of the many opportunities you can find in Willimantic to thicken the bonds of community, to create networks of generosity, to give back in the little way that we're providing a space for people to give back. And yeah, we hope that something beautiful can emerge from it.
Well, we have a beautiful buzz in this area for many years. Many events are done. They gather people together. The soup kitchen thing with the Covenant Soup Kitchen with the bread box, David Foster, all the programs and events. So this is a community.
Third Thursday, we've got the Empty Bowl coming up. We're such a generous, artsy community. It's really a great place to live. I see you have the movie thing. We have switched the order of the movies.
All right.
So John pulled out our flyer about the Molten Lava Cinema, right? We got a lot going on there.
Now it's still the last Wednesday?
The last Wednesday, absolutely. And our next movie is coming up 4/23, Wednesday, and it's going to be The Secret Garden. Again, donation, whatever you want. You get a free bag of popcorn. You get to sit in 100-year-old cinema chairs from one of our local Victorians. Absolutely beautiful chairs. And just kind of be in community and watch art movies. There's nothing more fun than that. And then on 5/28, there's Central Station, the Brazilian movie. And then we're closing on 6/25 with a bang, with Apocalypse Now, just in case you weren't stressed out enough.
There you go.
So, yeah.
You have to arrange to have the scent of napalm in the theater just to set the proper mood.
Just to set the mood, absolutely.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So that's the series now. Maybe you should mention the website so people can connect to all these events.
So there is a Molten Court Facebook page.
Facebook, thank you.
Yeah, so, and you can go to that. I think it's Molten Court artist, Gabrielle Zane runs it. I'm not a Facebook person, but we put all of this up on that website or that Facebook page.
Thank you, Gabriel.
Thank you, Gabriel. Yeah, Gabe. And if people want to know more, who should they email?
Yeah, either one of us.
Either one of us. So you can email me, Phoebe, PHOEBE.C.Godfrey@gmail, or...
Yeah, you can email me at juanpabloyepes1@gmail.com. Spell that out. JUANPABLOYEPSTOBON@gmail.com.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for your good work to put this together, and Phoebe, thank you again for all the work you do all the time.
Well, no, thank you, John. You are equally involved and supporting us all the time. So thank you, and hope to see you at the Mutual Aid Art Show and Sale.
Once again, it's going to be Thursday the 17th, 5 to 8, Friday the 18th, 3 to 6, and Saturday the 19th, 12 to 3 at the Molten Lava Gallery, 31 Molten Court. Hope you have a great turnout. I'll stop by and see you, and we'll see you back in the studio soon.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks so much.
Us.
Okay.
Take care of yourself.
Yep,
Be well.
Bye-bye.
All righty. Well, that's it for this week, I think. Matt, do we have a couple of minutes left? What's our clock for today?
Like 3 minutes.
3 minutes left, okay, because we're leaving early for the rest of us. Take care, folks. This is live radio, folks. So we have that down. There's a couple more things I do want to mention. At Eastern, this weekend is a really cool thing. We talked about it last week. It's the Green Frog Film Festival. These are countries from around the world about sustainability, and they have to do with aspects of environmental challenges, social issues, and economic issues. There's films from over 20 countries all over the Eastern campus from 5 to 10 this Saturday, April 12th. And if you want to find out more information, where's the way to find out about that? Hold on, I just had that flyer. I got so many emails here. It's 5 to 10. If you go to easternct.showware.com, Showware is their website for all their ticketed events. I wish it was easier, but it's Showware, SHOWARE.com/greenfrog. It's the whole festival, many countries involved. It's the first time they've done it at Eastern. If it goes well, they'd like to keep it as an annual tradition. If you like cinema, this is animation, stop motion, long form, short form, all kinds of ways to tell stories about sustainability. And that's this Saturday, the 12th, from 5 to 10. So I guess that's about 2 minutes to go. Okay, I'm going to use this again. There's a big one, too, coming up. Right next door is a wonderful place called the River Room. They're having an opening very soon. They have a special event coming up on Friday, April 18th. At 11 o'clock is a ribbon cutting. It's at Spiral Arts right next door to us in the Spiral Arts studio. And the River Room is their music space downstairs. And then from 11:30 to 1, they're going to have a reception. And they'll have a concert at 5 o'clock. They'll have some live music featuring Bruce John and special guests at the River Room on Friday the 18th. There are other shows coming there too. Chris Beaudry's programming a whole series of awesome live music events here. And if you go to their website, you'll find out more. Just search on the River Room and you get all the information. It's so nice to have another music venue right here in Willimantic. My very last word is Christine Ullman and Rebel Montez is in the house on April 27th, 4 o'clock. It's a Sunday. It's the Breadbox Folk Series. Be there. It should be an awesome show. It might be sold out by now. I've got to check into that myself. But that's good, too. If you go to breadboxfolk.org, you'll get the whole schedule from Bruce and Therese. So that's how we're going to wrap it up for this week. Thanks for sharing your time with us, and we'll see you next time. Take care.